What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Valvetronic Designs. Today, behind me, a beautiful frozen gray M4 comp. It's actually the Kith edition, which is super badass. This car behind us already has the Valvetronic Designs equal length midpipe. And in this video today, we're going to explain to you the benefits of doing the Valvetronic Designs rear section specifically. In this video, we're going to talk about all the different gains you get from doing a rear section. A lot of people know that the gains on this car are mostly in the midsection, but with the Valvetronic Designs rear section, you gain a lot more control and flexibility over the exhaust system. Understand the system is quite expensive for just the rear section. You get a lot more control over the exhaust system. Benefits include having your own separate valves that you do not use the OEM valve connections for, so you have more control over loud and quiet. Additionally, you get some really nice carbon fiber tips or titanium, whichever tips that you decide. You get rid of the diaper casing under the back of the car, which looks a lot more attractive. Big changes for sound. The muffler casing from Valvetronic Designs is packed full of material, so the exhaust is actually quieter than stock with the valves closed, and it's louder with the valves open. You get a more dynamic shift between quiet to loud, which ultimately improves the driving experience. You know, there's a lot of questions about the Valvetronic Designs Axleback. A lot of people ask, what's the point? I should just get a mid-pipe. That's the best gains. But in this video, we're gonna really dive into it, show you the differences between a car that has just a mid-pipe and then a car that has the mid-pipe and Axleback combo. Hopefully you guys learned something. Come along for the adventure. We're gonna do the install and then show you guys the before and after sound clips back to back, so you can make the best purchasing decision for you. So let's get after it. We're gonna put this car on the lift, but before that, we're gonna show you guys what the car sounds like right now. Let's do it. Okay, so we're in the G80 right now. Again, this car just has the Valvetronic Designs equal length mid-pipe, and it's a great sound. We're using the OEM exhaust valves here. We're gonna put you guys outside and then get some before clips before we put the rear section on, so you know exactly what the car sounds like before we do the modification of adding the Axleback and making this a full exhaust system, and so you guys understand what the benefits are. What you do find with these G80s is the exhaust valves, they don't fully open when you have the exhaust button pressed. So it's only open like 20%, not 100%. So what we're gonna do is when we put the exhaust on, the Axleback section, we're gonna use the Valvetronic Designs valve with the remote. And you'll notice there's way more change between valves open and valves closed, and you get a more aggressive, in my eyes, much more enjoyable sound. So you guys can obviously make up your minds whether the rear section is worth it. We really think it is. Here, nothing's tight yet on the rear section, that's why the tips are not perfectly straight, but on the ground here you can see got the OEM exhaust. The factory exhaust motors have been removed. We're going to plug those in and then we're going to zip tie them away so that they're out of the flow of the exhaust, and then we're going to install our own valve controller, and that's going to give the owner of this vehicle way more flexibility to control loud and quiet modes. This car still has the original OEM downpipes in it, so it's not super aggressive, but the sound is a lot cleaner, a lot smoother, and because you can operate the valves 100%, you're gonna get a little bit more flexibility as well. But you can kind of take a look under here, See, now the customer's got the full system on here, stainless the whole way with the 4-inch titanium tips, which looks really spectacular. I'm going to show you guys here in a little bit what the car sounds like on the ground. I'm going to plug in all the valve hardware. If you want to see the full installation of this exhaust system, there's another video that we'll link in the description below that'll explain how to do the rear section install and the mid-pipe install as well. So click the link below. But for right now, we're going to finish buttoning everything up, and then we're going to show you guys how good the car sounds. Valves closed, ready? Alright guys, we're in the G8x now. We have the Valvetronic Axleback installed, and you can even hear already, because we're using the Valvetronic Designs exhaust valve controller with the buttons on the mirror. Take a listen. It's so cool. We can control the exhaust from the buttons up high. And this is now just pops control. So if you want to have the pops and cracks, you click this. If you don't want to have any pops and cracks and the active sound, you don't have that engaged. But now you're able to separate them, so your exhaust valves are separate than your active sound and pops. We're driving with the exhaust valves open in the DSC off mode in 2-wheel drive. And all you get is raw, aggressive sound. And if I want pops and cracks, I can click this. Now we have the cracks back. So this is one of the big benefits of having an Axleback, specifically the Valvetronic Designs, is you get that extra valve controller remote to control the valves separately. Much more aggressive sound even on the OEM downpipes because you have this extra control. And those exhaust valves, they stay open the whole time, which is much more enjoyable than having them close when you downshift. Look at that, the cracks. It's a much more dynamic and enjoyable experience with the Axleback installed. Yes, it's not a huge chunk louder. It really helps improve the experience. And of course, too, close the valves, take myself out of M2, just drive normally. Of course, no drone, no unwanted frequencies in the cabin. The car sounds like it's bone stock. So we're gonna put you guys outside now. You can hear what the car sounds like compared to the mid-pipe only from earlier today when we filmed that section of the video. And you can tell that this is a lot more deep sound, more aggressive, and it's definitely the experience. So people ask all the time, oh, I just want to get the mid-pipe. We always recommend doing the Axleback because you get a more flavorful and more enjoyable sound characteristics.